So is that YouTube? Or should I say Xin Chào? Welcome to Phu Quoc. For the next several days, I'm going to be spending my time here getting to know this little island. I'm going to be taking you around to some of the local markets, checking out the cuisine, and of course just exploring and finding out what Phu Quoc is all about. So sit back, relax, grab a Saigon, let's get going. That way. So before we get started, I want to give you guys a brief history of this island of Phu Quoc. It's located in southern Vietnam and is situated in the Gulf of Thailand. Khmer people call this island Koh Tral. It's only about 7 miles from the coast of Cambodia, and if you're in Cambodia on a beach somewhere, you can actually see it. Before the French came in and colonized everything, Koh Tral used to be a part of Kampuchea Krom, and Kampuchea Krom belonged to the Khmer Empire. So after the French colonized Cambodia and made it a French protectorate, they annexed Kampuchea Krom and made it into a French colony named Koh Tral. And then, I'm not exactly sure why this happened, but in 1949, in spite of Cambodia's protests, the French signed over the territory of the Cochin Chinese, making it a part of Vietnam. Today, if you ask any Khmer, they will tell you that Kampuchea Krom and Phu Quoc or Koh Tral belong to Cambodia. For the longest time, this place was only a bunch of sleepy little fishing villages. They made fish sauce and grew black peppercorns. It wasn't until recently where tourism began to take hold. Over the past 10 years, billions of dollars have been poured into this little island, transforming it into a resort paradise, attracting tourists from all over the world. And it's not hard to see why people love Phu Quoc. The warm, tropical climate, white sand beaches, crystal clear waters, and of course, amazing seafood. And if seafood isn't your thing, there are plenty of other options, from street food to authentic local cuisine, only available here in Phu Quoc. But we'll go into more detail about the food a little bit later in this video. Next up, I want to talk about how to get to this island. So the easiest way to get to Phu Quoc is by plane. Yes, Phu Quoc does have an airport, and it's actually an international airport as well. And for those of you that are coming in from another country, if you're flying directly into Phu Quoc, you don't need a visa for Vietnam. However, if you want to leave Phu Quoc and go to some place like Ho Chi Minh, yes, you're going to need a Vietnamese visa. The other way to get to this island is by ferry, and there are several different ferries available, some slower, some faster. You just have to pick the one based on your budget and time. I went on the Superdong, which apparently is the fastest ferry available. It took a little less than 2 hours to arrive to the island. And since we're on the subject, let's talk about what you do after you arrive here. Welcome to Phu Quoc. Now I gotta find a ride to my hotel. So the first thing you're gonna do is go to the very end of the pier, and you're gonna look for a taxi driver. By the way, you did remember to exchange some US dollars for dong, right? Right? Okay, if you didn't, don't worry, there are plenty of ATMs on the way to your hotel. But anyway, you want to find these guys wearing yellow shirts that drive these yellow taxis. Yellow taxis mean they are metered taxis, and you want one of these because you don't want to get ripped off. It cost me a little less than $10 to reach my destination, which was the town of Duong Dong, about a 20-minute drive from the airport. So Phu Quoc is divided into several different locations depending on what you're looking for. Way up north is the most built up and quite frankly the most artificial area of the island. Here you're gonna find the Vin Pearl Resort Complex, which includes the Vin Wonders Amusement Park and of course the Grand World Phu Quoc. A little bit to the south, you'll find Ong Lang Beach. This is the perfect beach if you have a family and you want to stay somewhere that's a little quieter but not too far from the city. If you want to spend your days chilling on the beach, sipping a cocktail, then you want to head to the southern tip of Phu Quoc, where you'll find the best beaches on the island. If you're looking for something that's quiet and secluded, where you can enjoy the natural beauty of the island, then head over to the east coast. Here you'll find a huge variety of all-inclusive boutique resorts, all with their own private beach. And finally, we have Duong Dong. Yes, it's pronounced Duong Dong. This is where I stayed. It is the main town of Phu Quoc. This is where you're gonna stay if you want to be close to all the restaurants, bars, various shops, and markets. So staying on Phu Quoc, there's a ton of different options, everything from $10 bungalows like I have to $100 luxury villas. Welcome to the Hong Bin Bungalow. This is where I'm staying. It's located on a side street off the main road, and there's a ton of small resorts exactly like this. Typically, I think this is around $40 per night for one of these bungalows here. I'll show you mine in a second. Right outside of the office are the bungalows. And this is one I'm staying in. There's your room. And there's a door that actually leads to a second room, which they locked. I think you have to pay more for that extra room. Anyway, you get a closet. There's your bathroom. Not the best bathroom. That shower's kind of, there's something wrong with the floor. But what do you expect for 10 bucks, right? And these are kind of the fancier bungalows up top, I believe. You can see there's multiple floors, and then there's a huge house up top there. Okay, so apparently this is the Sky Bar. It looks a little run down. It's an empty room here. It goes up to the top there. The water is a little cold because it's been raining pretty much non-stop. Man, I seriously hope it doesn't rain like this the entire time I'm here. Pro tip, if you want to hang out on the beach, don't come during the monsoon season because it's gonna rain. But where else are you gonna find a tropical oasis like this for only $10 a night? Aside from a handful of Vietnamese tourists, I had almost the entire place to myself. Now if your budget is a little higher and you want something a little bit more luxurious, they have plenty of that in Xuong Dong as well. Now this is the Seashells. It's one of the most expensive places to stay on Phu Quoc. I think it was over $150 per night for this, but it is a magnificent looking hotel. I can't attest to how the rooms are, but it looks really nice from outside. And you can see it's got a really nice view of the ocean. I really like Xuong Dong. It's got the small beach town vibes without all the commercialization, but it's not the most walkable city. So to get around Phu Quoc, you can either take one of these city tour cars, which are basically like stretch golf carts, or you can do what I did and rent yourself a motorbike, which in my opinion is much better. There's also another option, which is a meter taxi, and you can find these guys pretty much all over the city. I mean, they're everywhere. I think there's also Grab, but my Grab doesn't work for some reason. There's these white taxis that actually say taxi on the roof. This is the main street of Duong Duong, and the bus travels up and down here, but I have no idea like what it costs or where it actually takes you. This is the airport, Sand Bay to airport, there it goes. But yeah, that's the bus. I didn't try it. I don't need it, I got this scooter. But all up and down this street, you'll find tons of different restaurants, and then every once in a while there'll be these little side streets that take you way up into the hills or down towards the shore. So let's talk about the beaches. Apparently the beaches here are some of the nicest in Vietnam. Now I came here during the monsoon season, so there's tons of debris from the storms. I think that the resorts they're a lot more understaffed at this time because there just aren't as many tourists. The water is very warm. It's not really crystal clear, but you do see a little blue greenish tint to it. So I would recommend not coming during the rainy season unless you're like me and you're just trying to find a good deal and just wanted to see the sand for a couple days. It's really kind of an unexpected trip for me here. And a couple other things you need to make note of is you're gonna need some Vietnamese dong, and there's plenty of money exchanging places along this route. And if you don't want to exchange money, you can also just use an ATM. There's plenty of those. Also, you'll probably want a SIM card. I found mine near the ferry terminal. When you arrive at the Ha Tien port, right down the street from the ferry terminal, I found this little stand selling tickets to Phu Quoc and also SIM cards. It was a Viettel card, cost me about $10 and gave me about 15 gigs worth of data. The SIM was really easy to activate, even easier than in Cambodia. I plugged it in and it worked right away. And to recharge the SIM, you just go to the website, enter your phone number, pick a package, and then pay for it. And this is like an all-in-one shop for your day excursions, your activities, snorkeling, fishing. You can also book airplane tickets, rent a car, and exchange your money right here. And I think that's pretty much it for the side pro tips. Welcome to the Phu Quoc night market. Now there are tons of seafood restaurants all over Guangdong, but here at the night market is where you're gonna find the best prices. There's so many of these seafood vendors and they're all trying to win your business, but the prices aren't what I would consider cheap. Since I was on somewhat of a budget, I stayed away from the lobsters, shrimps, and other crustaceans as well as the fish. Vietnam is well known for the huge variety of shellfish, and that's what I mainly stuck with. But this is the first time I've ever had shellfish prepared this way. They grill it with a scallion oil and then topped it with chopped scallions and peanuts, and typically they serve it with some sort of sauce on the side. So we got a snail, 2 sea urchins, I believe that's an abalone, and then an oyster. This meal here cost me about $10, including the beer. Not super cheap, but not really expensive either. Aside from the fact that they put way too many peanuts on the clams, it was really tasty. Wow. That was delicious. You gotta give the Vietnamese props here, man. They know how to do this. Kudos, thumbs up. But I will say this, I came back the next day and ate at a different restaurant and it wasn't as good. And I think the reason why is because I went to one of those places where the seafood was sitting out front already pre-made and then they heated it up. Some of the clams were kind of overcooked, and then the one clam was just downright, didn't taste good at all. I don't know if I got a bad clam or what, but I couldn't finish it. Spit that one out. Too chewy. A lot of dirt. I don't like that. But if seafood's not your thing, there are plenty of other options. Bánh chang, bánh suông, bánh mi, bánh all the things. I couldn't even tell you what half the names were, but they all looked really delicious. I just only have so much room in my stomach. I don't know what this is. It looks like some sort of meat ball on a stick. Cost me about $1.50. Seasoned pork on a stick. I like it. It's cheap. Anytime you're eating food while sitting on a plastic chair that's made for kids, it's gotta be good. So here's one of those dishes. I have absolutely no idea what it's called, but it kind of reminds me of bancheo. There's shrimp, there's broccoli, and there's some sort of bean in there, and then you get a little bit of lettuce, a little nok mam. Oh, these are nice and thick. Something like this, maybe. And then you go in there, into the dipping sauce. Boom, like that, I guess. Yeah. Very similar to bancheo. Well, I think the batter is like a coconut batter. If I had to describe this, it would be like num cro. And if you don't know what num cro is, it is a Cambodian street snack that's made in this special pan. The batter is made from coconut and rice flour, I believe. It's typically filled with scallions. And it kind of reminds me of takoyaki. Not really the taste, but the texture and the presentation. And it even looks like num cro. But like I said, I have absolutely no idea what this is called, so if you know, please leave a comment down below, let me know what it is. And it costs about $4, so kind of pricey, but you got a lot for the price, and it was really delicious. It's like a bar. Okay. Looks good. It's a little convenience store over here. Got tons of jewelry sellers. Pearls. So the Phu Quoc night market is not really what I would consider a market that locals go to. This is definitely set up for tourists. Wow. And just like any touristy marketplace, there's always that one weird food item that somebody's trying to sell. And this is it. If you come to Phu Quoc, you gotta try this. What is this? This smells like Turquoise Koh Tral.
Very good, very good.
Fish sauce?
Shot Thailand.
Thailand shot.
Yes.
It's like a, I think it's like Turquoise Koh Tral. But he's getting this in here?
Yeah.
Like this.
Okay.
Like this?
Okay.
Oh! Oh! Now, eat it. Eat it.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Nah, sir.
In my mouth. In my
Okay.
mouth. Okay. Like this?
Alright. Okay, okay.
Like this.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the black ink.
Ah.
Oh! So you're probably curious how it tastes, right? Well, you can taste mostly the koh kong sauce, and if you never had koh kong sauce, it's basically fish sauce with some vinegar, crushed garlic, and chilies. So I tasted mostly that. The squid itself was, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I guess it tasted like I was chewing on a live squid. If you know anything about squid, you know it has almost like a cartilage-like skeleton on the inside, so that was sort of crunchy. Honestly, it didn't taste too bad. Yeah, good. I just ate a live squid for 80,000 dong, which is about $3.50. Most people that are visiting Phu Quoc as tourists, they go to the night market. As a matter of fact, I went there 3 times myself. But if you want to see a real market, a market where the locals shop at, then you have to visit the day market. This is the market where locals would go and get their produce and meats and various things, groceries for the day. Also, you know, if you need a cow head. Oh, that's a big cow head. Look at this thing. Whoa. That's a big cow head. I took a brief drive through, and it's actually a pretty big market. It's right here underneath this bridge. It's not too far away from the night market. But I'm gonna walk around and see what's interesting here. Turtles. Turtles. Wow, these are weird looking frogs. And these are the various fruits for machu. You know, I got mangoes, guava, crab apples, cucumbers, limes. Ooh, some good looking melons there. Mud crabs, Chinese sausages, pork, chicken, tons of fish. Oh, that's a snakehead, I think. Look like snakehead. Carp. Oh, these are giant catfish. Wish you guys could smell this. It's great. This guy's trying to get out. Lots of fresh meats and produce, fresh seafood, shrimps. It's at 80 a kilo. This guy's trying to squeeze through here. Big ass truck. Cashew fruit, I think. That's a cashew fruit. Yeah, it's not that much different than you'd see in a Cambodian market. But I do notice a lot more variety of seafood. Look at this thing. Wow. I have no idea what that is. It's like a giant snail. I feel like humans aren't supposed to eat something that's that colorful. Man, I've never seen some of these fish before. Look at these guys are running away. I don't know if I could eat a frog like that. That's a big ass frog. Okay, I was just down there walking along the street here. Now, if you pan over here to the left, right there's the canal, and look at all these boats just lined up back there. I mean, it's endless. There are tons of fishing boats. And then there's even more on this side. On top of these boats are a bunch of light bulbs. So when they go out early in the morning, I would imagine they go out like 2, 3 in the morning, and they're out there fishing, probably even earlier. but they got all those lights, and it must help them to see, or maybe even attract some of the fish. But that's pretty neat. Stumbled onto the Din Sao temple. This is very sacred to the local people here who come here and ask for good luck, especially the fishermen. You know, before they go out to sea, they come here and hope that they have a bountiful catch. But yeah, I just kind of stumbled onto it as I was rolling around these spots. Beautiful view of the ocean. Whew. It's windy. Lighthouse. It's obviously a very popular attraction. There's a walkway down here. How do I get down there? Oh, here we go. We can go down there. It's so freaking windy. Sorry for the wind noise, guys. The sea is angry today, friends. Alright, I'm probably nuts for doing this, but I'm gonna go all the way out to the end there. Holy crap. There's definitely a storm approaching out there. It's so dark. Look at that. Oh my god. I'm nuts. Oh my god. Okay. I'm soaked. Alright, I made it all the way out here. Now what? Wonder if I'm allowed out here. Actually, it's not as bad out here as it is over there. Okay, that's enough for me. Welcome to my favorite bar / restaurant in Phu Quoc. I discovered this place on day one of my trip. I was on my way to the market and I was feeling a little thirsty and saw this bar, so I stopped in and the owner suggested that I try some Phu Quoc beer. It's a local brew made right here in Phu Quoc, and I took one sip and immediately I was hooked. Okay, I'm back at my favorite spot here at this bar. Not only is the beer good, but the ambience is really nice as well. It's just a really cool, relaxed vibe, and the family that runs it, they're super nice. And also the food is amazing as well. So I really wanted banh mi today, but I couldn't help but order some oysters while sitting here. If someone were to ask me for suggestions on where to eat or drink in Phu Quoc, Ngan would definitely be at the top of my list. And right alongside Ngan would be Banh Xeo Khoi 3. There was two things that I was really hungry for that I had to eat, and that is Banh Xeo or Banh Xeo and Bun Cha. The latter being what Anthony Bourdain and Obama ate in Hanoi. And apparently this restaurant makes the best banh xeo and the best bun cha. It looks amazing. I got the shrimp and pork banh xeo, and if you don't know how to eat this, I'll give you a little tutorial. It's really simple. You take your rice paper here. It feels like paper. Like almost looks like plastic. It's kind of see-through. But this is definitely a eat with your hands thing, so make sure your hands are clean. But you take your rice or your lettuce, and then you take your crispy, oh, this is nice and crispy, wow. Put your banh xeo in, load up the veggies. This looks like daikon, carrot, and then you got your herbs. It's a really healthy way to eat. You want to load up on the herbs. I love the herbs. I have no idea what herbs these are either. You can comment below if you know what they are. Like this here, I'm not sure what that is. And then we just roll it up. Nice little package. And then into the fish sauce. Oh wow. I'm back at the Bun Cheo restaurant, and this time I'm having bun cha, which is that dish that Anthony Bourdain and Obama had in Hanoi. And it's pretty much like meatballs in like a sauce or soup with rice vermicelli noodles, and herbs, and lettuce. It's really the first time I've ever tried this, so I hope I'm doing it right. Oop, definitely not doing my chopstick right. Anyway, apparently you take some of the noodle, and you dunk it into the soup. I'm probably not doing this right. And then you take some of this meat, which is I think a pork meatball. And then you oh yeah. The meat is less of a meatball, or it's not a meatball as we know it in the US. It's kind of probably just chopped up meat, but this soup is very flavorful. It's full of these chunks of pork. I think this is the meatball, and then there's actual chunks of pork in there as well. And looks like carrots, and I'm not sure what that is, maybe daikon, thinly sliced, with a ton of garlic. And the soup itself is savory and sweet. Definitely can taste fish sauce, but yeah, it's very savory. You couldn't really just drink this soup. I also know that you can kind of just mix everything together in a bowl, like this, and then just spoon over some of the soup. So there's probably really no wrong way to eat this. So this is my first time eating bun cha, and I don't really know what to compare it to, but it was delicious here. The bun sale was also very good, but honestly you can get really good versions of both of these pretty much anywhere in Vietnam. But there's a dish that you need to try when you're in Phu Quoc. It's very difficult to find anywhere else. Welcome to Kien Zai, which is a bun quai restaurant, and bun quai is one of the most famous dishes here in Phu Quoc. It's basically a signature dish and literally translates to stirring noodles. And you basically get this nice bowl of noodles and seafood and dipping sauce, and you basically take a spoonful of the dipping sauce and stir it in the noodles, and that's how you eat it. I know, it sounds pretty much like pho, a little bit, but let's go ahead and dive in, taste it, see what it's like. I'm gonna taste the soup first by itself. Oh yeah, it's very clean, slightly seafoody flavor, and has like a very aromatic broth. Oh, that's good. So we're gonna go right in. I'm not gonna mess around. She said take a spoonful and put it in on the noodles. Oh wow, that sauce is pungent. It's limey, spicy, and I'm not sure what else is in it. In with the noodles. Nice and light. We got some squid, and I think this is like a fish patty or fish cake. Take another spoonful. I think this is how you eat it. Take a little bit of that shrimp paste, or the shrimp patty. It's very unique. The flavor of the broth is not like pho. It's a lot lighter, a lot cleaner. I'm assuming it's a seafood-based broth. At about $3 for a bowl, bun quai was probably my favorite dish in Phu Quoc. My only regret is that I hadn't found out about this sooner. I would have eaten here every single day, and ever since I left Phu Quoc, I've been missing it. I really like this broth, it's so good. It's perfect first thing in the morning. If there's any local dishes that you need to try in Phu Quoc, it's definitely bun quai. But this next local dish, I didn't really like as much. It's definitely interesting. I would say this is optional. If you're a little more adventurous, go ahead and give this a shot. Okay, so this is one of the most famous dishes here in Phu Quoc. The herring salad, which is less of a salad and more like, I don't know, you roll it up in these little, it's kind of like a spring roll. They give you these rice papers, and obviously some veggies, some noodles, and then you got your herring salad there, which appears to be covered in, I have no idea what's covered in, but I guess you go like this. These look like jungle herbs. You got a bunch of different veggies, looks like mint. I forget what these herbs are called. Lettuce, obviously. You add your herring, which is raw, by the way. Don't forget the noodle. Put your noodle in there, and then you roll it up like that, and then into your dipping sauce. So the herring was very mild. You didn't really taste much fish. It was just a slight fishy undertone. Honestly, the whole thing was kind of bland. The only thing that really gave it flavor was the dipping sauce. It's really good dipping sauce. And apparently this is one of those dishes that you won't find outside of Phu Quoc. It's very local. This rice wrapper is almost like paper. It feels like paper. There you go. So yeah, this was very interesting to try, and obviously it looks very healthy, much healthier than most Asian foods. But yeah, I would give this a pass unless, like I said, you're a little bit adventurous or you just want to try some raw seafood. And it was a large portion for myself. I couldn't finish it at all. This is probably enough for 4 people. So aside from the beach and eating, there's plenty of other activities, excursions you can go on. I didn't do any of them, of course. I'm not a huge fan of excursions. I just like coming to a place and experiencing the food and culture and just seeing the sights. Yeah, you can book all sorts of snorkeling, boat trips. You can visit the islands. You can go fishing, deep sea fishing, squid fishing. You can go on jungle treks. Those are just a few of the things. There's a couple nightclubs. But they're only open on the weekend. Not so many bars here, but plenty of beer gardens and places to just buy beer and sit and have a drink. Yeah, there's no shortage of things to do for all ages or whatever you're looking for here, whether you're a party animal or you're just looking for a relaxing time. Pick myself up a banh mi at the banh mi place right outside the night market. So I've passed by this little banh mi stand so many times. It's located right outside of the night market, and honestly, I was trying to avoid eating banh mi because I know that you can get this pretty much anywhere, but I just couldn't resist. So I stopped in and grabbed the sandwich. So here we go. Wow. The bread's a little, could be a little fresher. Maybe toasted, but good nonetheless. So as far as like the people go, they're really nice here, but it is a beach town, so they're used to seeing foreigners. And not all people here speak English. I mean, I wouldn't even say 25% speak English, but they know enough to sell you something. They know how much or where's the bathroom, things like that. They know the basic English speak for business. I don't know any Vietnamese, and I haven't really had too much trouble, except for that one night at the night market when I went to order some seafood, and I just wanted to know what the prices were, and she started throwing the things, everything that was pointing out on the grill. I'm like, oh no, whoa, whoa. But I think that was the only trouble I had, and I do regret it a little bit because I spent a lot more than I thought I would. But other than that, no problems communicating with people at all. So in closing, my final thoughts about Phu Quoc. You see, I have never been to Vietnam, and I just happened to be in Kampot. And I was in Kampot because I just wanted to get away from the city for a little bit, and my initial plan was to go to Koh Tral. It would take me about almost 5 or 6 hours to get to Koh Tral, and I started looking at the Vietnamese border, and I found Phu Quoc, and I started researching, and I'm like, you know what, it only takes about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours to get to Phu Quoc from Kampot. And I had just gotten my Cambodian passport. I'm like, you know what, let's use the passport, come here, check it out, see what Vietnam's all about. So for me, it was worth it because it was only a little bit out of my way. For you watching, I guess it really depends. If you're in Cambodia already and you want to go to Vietnam, Phu Quoc might be a good choice for you. Now, if you're flying in from somewhere else, I don't really know. There is visa-free travel, but it might be expensive to fly to Phu Quoc. My only suggestion is to maybe reconsider if you're going to come here during the rainy season, because it rains a lot on this island. And if you're coming here during the high season, I would imagine the hotels are much more expensive. For example, my hotel I paid $10 for, but it's typically I think around $30, $40 per night during the high season. So you have to take that into consideration as well. But anyway, that is the end of the video. If you made it this far, please hit the subscribe button. Help me with the algorithm by leaving a comment and hitting a thumbs up. And if you really like what I'm doing and want to support my work, please consider buying a beer by clicking on my coffee link down below. And for all those that have already donated, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.